What's up, everyone? It's Rashad Buie. Thanks for coming back for another episode of Ballin' with Buie, where I cover the hottest topics in sports, especially if they're OU related. So today, I want to talk about OU football, transfers, walk-ons, recruits. Typically won't cover OU football since college football is pretty far away, but I'm too excited, so I'm going to talk about it today. So let's dive in. First, I want to talk about the transfers out. First, start off with Charleston Rambo. He had a pretty bad year. He was expected to be the next guy in the lineup this season, and he did not perform. He was supposed to be replacing CeeDee Lamb, which you can't really replace CeeDee Lamb, but production-wise, his numbers were supposed to pick up, and he got outshined by a freshman by the name of Marvin Mims. Look at Charleston Rambo's numbers. In 2019, he had 43 receptions, 743 yards, and 5 touchdowns, with a long of 74. And that's with CeeDee Lamb in the lineup. You take CeeDee Lamb out the lineup, and his numbers drop drastically. 25 receptions, 312 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he only had a long of 53 yards. He's supposed to be the guy that puts the burners on and takes the top off the defense, and he just didn't turn out to be that guy. So he transfers, goes to Miami, play with De'Aaron King. We'll see if his numbers improve over there. I mean, they don't have that guy in Miami, so maybe he can be that guy. Next, we look at the quarterbacks. Chandler Morris, Tanner Mordecai. Not surprised. We got Spencer Rattler, clear starter. And then we have a 5-star recruit coming in. So you knew they weren't going to get any playing time. They stayed under Lincoln Riley, get some development, mature a little bit. I mean, Lincoln Riley's arguably the best quarterback coach in the nation. So they didn't hurt in any way by coming to OU for a couple years, learning from him, and then dipping on out. Chandler Morris going to TCU, Tanner Mordecai heading over to SMU with Grant Calcaterra, who had retired from the game of football but had decided to come back and had went to Auburn, but then they're falling apart, so he took that back. Now he's going to head over to SMU. And we look at TJ Pledger, who kind of surprised by the move. I mean, he didn't get very many carries this year due to Ramondre Stevenson, but you figure he would be able to split carries with Kennedy Brooks this upcoming year. He wouldn't have been the starter, obviously, because Kennedy Brooks is our guy. But I thought he would have had good numbers, good carries, because we don't run a sole back offense. We split carries between 2, sometimes 3 backs. And I thought TJ Pledger was going to get plenty of carries this year, but maybe something was told to him and he wasn't going to get that. So he heads out to Utah. And we got John Michael Terry, Robert Barnes, and Jalen Connors. They're not impact players. They hadn't done anything since they've been here. I mean, Jalen Connors only a freshman, but Robert Barnes, John Michael Terry, they're not losses. I mean, it was kind of expected. Not maybe expected, but I wasn't surprised when I heard that they were transferring. When we look at the players that were leaving for the draft, Adrian Ely, right tackle, Creed Humphrey, our center, Trey Norwood, DB obviously Ronnie Perkins, DN, Ramondre Stevenson, and the running back position. We already knew Creed Humphrey, automatic gonna go. Adrian Ely, I kind of expected to go, but I didn't want him to go. I obviously wanted him to come back so we could have a stout O-line, which I still think we are. We'll get into that a little bit here in a minute. Trey Norwood is a guy that I was very surprised to enter the draft. He had a great year, best year of his career so far. Alex Grinch really molded him into a much better DB. I think he fits a particular role. I don't think he's like a fly-around guy, going to make things happen, but you put him in the right system, and I think he can make plays for you. So we'll see what happens. I don't know if he's going to get drafted. His stock has definitely gone up. His value has gone up during the Senior Bowl. He laid a stick on a receiver. When you look at Ronnie Perkins and Ramondre Stevenson, they had absolutely great years. Like, I don't even know what numbers they would have put up if they would have been able to play the entire season, but they only got to play 6 games. But in those 6 games, Ronnie Perkins had 20 tackles, 5.5 sacks. Ramondre Stevenson had 665 yards rushing, 6.6 yards per carry, 7 TDs, and he also was a threat in the receiving game. Ronnie Perkins is a huge loss. I still think that our front 7 is still going to be one of the best in the country. I think I would have been a lot more confident to say that last statement if Ronnie Perkins was coming back, but I still have a lot of faith in our defense, even with Ronnie Perkins leaving. And Ramondre Stevenson, I was a bit worried with him leaving because Kennedy Brooks, obviously we have, but I don't know who's going to be that 2. I like Seth McGowan a lot, but I don't know if he would have been that guy. But we can get into that a little bit later also. Got a transfer coming in to help out. So let's dive into the transfers. Wanya Morris from Tennessee, tackle. He can help replace Adrian Ely. I don't know if he's going to be on the left side, the right side, if he's even going to play tackle, if he's even going to play at all. But I imagine he is. He's a former 5-star recruit. Can't imagine him sitting on the bench. I imagine he's going to be on the starting lineup. He's going to be a very impactful player to start the year. We also have another O-lineman, Robert Congle. He originally was at A&M, and then Kevin Sumlin left and went to Arizona, so he follows Kevin Sumlin to Arizona. I'm not sure how much playing time he's going to get. Not sure if he's going to earn a starting role, but we'll see. I mean, he's an experienced player, so he could hop right in and be an impactful player as well, along with Wanya Morris. Now we have a quarterback, Micah Bowens from Penn State, which I thought was a very strange move for him. We already have 2 5-star quarterbacks. I don't know why he would come to OU if he just wants to come and learn and develop and then hope that he can work his way into that NFL draft somehow, some way. But I don't think he expects to play. He shouldn't expect to play unless there's just some horrific injury to, I think, both quarterbacks. Because if Spencer goes down, I have to think the other one's going to slide in right behind him, even if it risks losing a red shirt, because he's only going to be here 3 years anyway, so the red shirt doesn't really matter. Unless he goes down with a horrific injury, then I can see Micah Bowens coming in. But other than that, not really sure why he's moving here. Then we talk about the big transfers that I think are going to make the biggest difference right off the bat. Key Lawrence, safety from Tennessee, and Eric Gray, running back from Tennessee. Key Lawrence, I think he's a stout guy, former 4-star. I think he's going to be a starter. I mean, our secondary is the only thing that I'm questioning on the defensive side of the ball. But we'll see. We're just undersized, but we're experienced now, and I love the way Woody Washington's been playing at corner. But safety-wise, we'll see what happens. Even if he doesn't start, he will be rotating in, I imagine, very heavily. And then Eric Gray, he's very similar to Kareem Hunt in football aspect. He can be a very impactful player in the receiving game, and I think that's what he's going to be for us. I mean, Kennedy Brooks can be used in that way too, but I think Eric Gray is going to be the guy to just rip the top off the defense. Nice switch of pace. And the big key is he had 0 fumbles at Tennessee. Our running backs got to hang on to the ball. Clearly, you're not going to play at Oklahoma if you can't hang on to the football. 0 fumbles, that's a big pickup for us. When we talk about walk-ons, I'm not really going to talk about them too much because I can't imagine them playing much this year, maybe in the future, possibly. We had 3 preferred walk-ons, Maurice Wren, Ben Harris, Hayden Bray, linebacker, quarterback, DN in their respective orders. And then we got Trent Robinson, O-line, and Ralph Rucker, quarterback. I don't really know with the quarterbacks. I mean, maybe they're coming in for a couple years, get some development, and then transfer out, just like we see a lot of quarterbacks at OU do. But we'll see. Maurice Wren, linebacker, I mean, he can earn his way in. He's coming from Louisiana Tech. He's had some playing time. I mean, he's not a freshman coming in. But also, our front 7 is pretty stout. I mean, he might be able to rotate in, but I cannot imagine him coming in and earning a spot in that starting lineup. Now we got our opt-outs returning, obviously Kennedy Brooks being the major one, and then we have Jalen Redmond, who is another major one. He is going to have a big year. I'm expecting Jalen Redmond to pop off this year after sitting out last year. And then we have Stacey Wilkins on the O-line. Like I said, our O-line, I think, is going to be really stout. Running backs are going to be stout. Offense is going to be stout. Offense is always good, and I think might be the best in the country this year. I mean, obviously you have to worry about Alabama, Clemson. Other than that, that's about it. So we'll see what happens. Now recruits coming in. 5-star quarterback, Caleb Williams, going to be a star. Once Spencer's gone, he's going to fill in. Not going to hear much from him this year. He's going to play in a couple games, take the red shirt, probably just like Spencer did, or not. We'll see. But there's not going to be a quarterback battle. Lincoln Riley's going to lie to us. Oh, there's a quarterback battle, yada, yada, yada. It's Spencer's job. We all know that. Caleb Williams, wait your turn and then step right in. 5-star or 4-star, 5-star receiver, depends where you look. Mario Williams, 4th best receiver in the country. I don't know how much playing time he's going to get this year. He might jump right in. I mean, he's a early enrollee. He's already on campus, along with Caleb Williams. So we'll see what happens. He's going to be a star, I think, whether it's this year or next year, I don't know. But he's going to make things happen. We got Billy Bowman. He's a 4-star, number 2 ATH in the country. He's a speedster. I'm not sure where we'll be putting him. He ran a 10.84 100 meter as a sophomore in high school. He can play in the slot. He can play just about anywhere in the secondary. Potentially an all-purpose back. So I don't know what OU's plans are with him, but we will see. I'm not going to go through all our recruits, but those are the biggest ones, I think, alongside with Clayton Smith, who's a 4-star defensive end. I think he's going to be very impactful. I mean, just like I've said numerous times already, our front 7 is really strong, but Clayton Smith is an animal. He is a beast. He's a speedster. He will jump off the line very quickly and get in the backfield, and I think he will be a very impactful player this season, so remember that name, Clayton Smith. Other than that, I mean, we have some solid recruits. Like I said, I'm not going to go through all these, but I think that about ends this podcast. Thanks for joining in. Consider subscribing. Deuces.